Hello and welcome to a Monday night stream. I do apologise for not being here last week. I find myself extremely tired and kind of lacking the energy to create anything, but doing a bit better today. So I will be working on the Abregado, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I should probably figure that out before I give the script to people. Rae Spaceport for Chapter 20. Since I've produced all the content I need for 19, just waiting for the dialogue from the voice actors. As you can see, I've already got started building a lot of the environment. So I hope everyone had a good weekend. Just having a look around to see what else I need to do. Let me tell you, stairs are quite annoying. Eternal Emperor, welcome. I know that some people might be shocked and horrified that I'm using SketchUp rather than something like Blender to create this, but SketchUp's actually really good for these kind of environments, and it helps keep it simple. And it's quick, which is always good. Let's get rid of some of these extra. Just tidying up a little bit. Before we get started, well, before I continue, I should say, given that I've already been working on this for about 2 hours, 3 hours, is it? 4 hours, no, 3 hours, yeah. This is about 3 hours work, although I did have to stop and do a few things in between. So, probably about an hour and a half in total. Yeah, there's a few interruptions. So what I intend to do is, this big flat area is going to be the spaceport, so the Falcon is going to land here, and there'll be a few other ships. Obviously not going to place them in SketchUp because that would be kind of pointless. I'll animate those in iClone once this city's been completed. And have some kind of buildings here. I haven't decided what yet. And then what I need in the background is some more buildings that are going to be a lot less detailed because they don't need to be. They'll be too far away. I mean, I'm not too worried about the detail at this level either, because again, it's the camera angle is going to be quite distant from the characters. Jamie, welcome. It's good to see you. And that you have brought chaos. So the spaceport I haven't really done anything with yet other than get the rough idea of its shape and these steps. All the visual references to the planets say it's kind of aquatic, and it looks a little bit like Venice, but not in the sense that it's a city built with lots of canals, but the buildings don't look like Phoenician buildings. Some are a bit more medieval looking, some more futuristic looking, like you'd expect from Star Wars. So I'm kind of going for that kind of blend. I know that I did a stream a long time back where I started working on the city, but that was a very rough design, and I think this is going to look much better once it's brought in and rendered, because back then I didn't know that NVIDIA Omniverse and all the ray tracing rendering I think I could do is going to exist, so I think this is the best way forward now. Although I was happy with the texturing, I think, so I will go back to that and get some ideas from that previous stream. Berserker of Thrawn, that's an interesting take on that song. I do approve of it. So I'm going to get started adding some more detail. Let's see where. Right, so like I said, the spaceport's going to be here, and Han and Lando go into a cantina, which I'm going to build here as a separate object. So this is just going to be an empty space, and I'm going to put some other buildings up here. So again, empty space. Because I've already got those buildings as separate objects, so I don't need to worry too much about them. Just need to, apart from leaving somewhere for them to go. This thing to do is to do something with this. Maybe not. Yeah, marketplace might be good here. I already have market stalls, so maybe I'll just leave. Actually, no, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to build the rooftop. Street Gamer, welcome. JT Crusader, welcome. For those who don't know, JT Crusader is working on a fan-made audiobook of Heir to the Empire, and he's beaten me, caught up from where I was, and now obviously chapter 19 has exceeded that. I'm still waiting for the dialogue from my chapter 19, so I can't really progress with that until I get that, receive that. So I've moved on to 20. I'm really looking forward to animating chapter 20. Hoppy, welcome. Haven't seen you for a little while. Let's see, 2.5 meters should be tall enough. Well, I'm glad you stopped by, even if it's only for a moment. And yeah, like you said, you can catch up later when you get a chance. So have a good day. Have a good day. So I think. That should do the trick. Almost. Street Gamer, this is SketchUp, which is a very simple 3D modeling program, which hopefully won't horrify too many people that I'm using this instead of something more sophisticated like Blender, but I actually really like this because it's very simple and it can handle environments like this easily and quickly. And I'm not going to put a massive amount of detail in because I don't need to when I'm doing long shots. So I don't need to worry too much. Obviously nothing's textured yet because I'm still building it. Might do the texturing next week once I've finished all the buildings. And Jamie, yeah, exactly, use what works. As for what happens in chapter 20, I'm not going to spoil it. If you know, you know. If you don't remember, then you will get reminded when you see the chapter. I will say that it's one of the longest chapters in the book, so that's going to be an interesting amount of work on that. Also one of the longest chapters in the script. So the previous one, longest one, was 4, and that was 14 minutes. So I wonder if this will top that. I hope so. I'm glad you enjoyed the idea of a surprise. Right. I'm just trying to make this look a little bit more unusual. It's kind of doing the trick. I'm not going to worry about stuff looking from this side because the camera is going to be over here. Street Gamer, yeah, it can be imported into iClone very easily. It takes a couple of minutes. Which is another reason I like doing this, because I can create simple objects quickly and bring them into iClone very quickly. So I make these areas raised up a little bit. If I do that and that, give it a little bit more detail. J2 Crusader, that's not a problem. Enjoy your time with your family. Thank you for stopping by, and good luck with your chapter 19. I'm sure you're going to beat the race to see which of us can get to 19 finished first, and I will congratulate you on that now. Street Gamer, no I didn't. I found myself pretty tired and didn't really have the energy to create anything on the stream or play anything, so I thought I'd take the week off. But I'm back this week. Still a bit tired, but I'm sure I can manage. Now some of this I've got figured out in my head, and then other parts of it I'm just going to make up as I go along, such as these little ridges, because it's an extra little detail which I didn't think about until those lines appeared from where I had drawn the outline, and I thought, actually, yeah, I can raise this up and add some more depth to the model. So in iClone I have the pillars quite tall enough for the roof, so we'll just raise up the pillars a little bit. Raising the pillars slightly is quicker than I forgot where I was going with that. Jamie, honestly, I haven't decided yet. That's one of the things, details I haven't figured out yet. It's when I come to texture it, I don't think it can be too heavy because I haven't got that many supports. Maybe I should put some more supports on it. Is it open source? I don't believe it is. So, I looked on Wikipedia. My original idea for the spaceport was to make it look more or less like Tatooine or Mos Eisley, but not desert, but similar style buildings, similar to the way that planets in The Mandalorian look. They've got the buildings have a very similar style, but then I looked on Wikipedia, and in the graphic novel adaptation of Heir to the Empire, and there's some art from one of the guidebooks on there as well. It looks kind of like Venice, but not. The buildings don't look like Venetian buildings, but it's a city with rivers between different sections of it. With riverboats and so on. So the building style is more medieval with castles, and then one of the other pictures had some more Star Warsy looking buildings. And that's the style I thought I'd go for, because it's very unusual. In the end, I thought this is actually better than what I was originally thinking, because what I was originally thinking would look like any other generic Star Wars planet, and I thought I want this to look a little bit more unique. I mean, Star Wars is known for exotic locations, so this should do that. And even though I said it looks like Venice, it does not look like Naboo either, because obviously that was filmed in Italy. But Naboo's a very wealthy core world, or mid-rim world, and this planet is very run down. It's used by criminals and so on, smugglers. So it's going to a little bit be dirtier and not as looked after as Naboo. Lots of comments here. I don't have any RAM, but I'm sure you can find some. And yes, this is actually SketchUp. I'm glad you admire my patience and dedication. It's very nice of you to say. Yeah. If you look on St. Joseph, if you look on Wikipedia, you'll see the pictures that I was talking about. Matthew, I'm sorry to hear you got a positive test result. I hope you feel better soon. That's just gamer. Yeah, I've been to Venice a few times as well. Every single time it's been really incredibly hot, and I haven't enjoyed it as much as I've liked to have done. Maybe this way I can enjoy the virtual Star Wars version. copy these extra stairs because I thought these are going to be useful, and of course they are going to be useful because they can go here by the marketplace. Traveling, so what did you find as your 3D program? I don't do a lot of 3D modeling, so I never really took the time to learn something like Blender, which is probably which I know is going to be much more powerful than this. So when on those rare occasions where I do need to create something, I tend to do it in this, and for these kind of environments it works nicely. These stairs go into the water for the boats, so the water level is going to be about here. Design spark mechanical. Well, let me quickly write that down and I can have a look for it. Later. Thank you for that. I'll look it up later and see if it would be a good fit for me to have a look at or not. Matthew, I'm glad you had a negative test result. When I said feel better soon, I didn't realise it's going to be that quick. But it's definitely good that you had a negative result, so and I'm glad to hear it. Jamie, there's one in the graphic novel picture that came up, and they look very similar to the desert skiffs from Return of the Jedi. So I'm probably going to use the desert skiff model that I've got, modify that a little bit so it's a bit more of a boat looking thing. Actually, now I think about it, the game Galactic Battlegrounds had boats in it as well, so maybe I should have a look at that and get some ideas. But the Traveling, I can imagine it would be. Well, Jamie, this is there's a comment in chapter 20 where this planet is compared to Mos Eisley, so it's not going to look all that elegant and smooth. So I'm going to put some market stalls here as well, and then under there. Right, I think it's time to work on the spaceport a little bit. Maybe I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, they really aren't. A little bit of trim there, so No beach. I'm sure there would be beaches around the edge of the city, but yeah, so they cleaned up the city, but it's not going to be rebuilt, so it's still going to have that. The buildings are still going to have that slightly rugged look, even if there's no garbage on the streets. Well, also for the moment, I don't need to worry too much about the beaches because all that we see is the spaceport and the cantina. In chapter 20. Now it does appear again in Dark Force Rising, which I haven't read for a long time, so I can't remember what happens then. I think Luke's here, but I may be mistaken. But that's for another time. So if the camera's about here, then well, that's probably because I read the book for the script. But since I haven't started worrying too much about Dark Force Rising yet, I haven't gotten that far ahead. So we're going to extend that out. Let's go with that. Travin, I do. I do take inspiration from them when I need to. At the moment, one of the things I've been doing is weekly character posters. I remember the Book of Boba Fett ones that were being released. After each episode, they would release a series of posters for characters that showed up in the previous episode, and I really like that idea. I don't release episodes weekly because I can't produce them that quickly, but what I decided to do is release one character poster per week until I run out of characters. There's about 30 or so on my list, so that might take a little while. Oops, messed that up. And I am saving some characters for when they actually appear. So I'm not going to release the Han and Lando posters until after their next appearance. Because it just makes sense that way, really. And then where else was I going with this? Okay, I remember now. For which planet was it? Bimasari, the marketplace. I did look at the planets for not Tatooine, but the I forget the name of the planet now, where the big fight is. It looks a little bit like Tatooine, but instead of sand, it's kind of mud and dirt. I used a little bit of inspiration for that for the marketplace in Bimasari. And I'm sure that I will again in the future. Jamie, you're right, he does. Although the Thrawn poster I posted the other day, was it 2 weeks ago now? He's holding one. Street Gamer, thank you for stopping by. Hope you sleep well. You can always catch up after when the stream's finished. It gets uploaded to YouTube, so you can catch up when you're more awake. So yeah, thank you for coming. Sleep well. Hold on a minute. I'm going to add East Lemuri to my character list, and then I'll. There we go. East Lemuri has been added to the list. Patriarch, welcome. It may be a while before I get to East Lemuri because one of the Merc is seen somewhere. But they're on the list, and I'll figure out a way to make a poster out of them. It'll be an interesting challenge. A Street Gamer, the clocks haven't changed here yet, but I thought I would stream an hour earlier than usual for the American and Canadian fans, or earlier the fans on the other side of the Atlantic. Street Gamer, yeah, there's very little East Lemuri merchandise. Recently there was a Heir to the Empire Black Series Luke action figure that was released that includes an East Lemuri for some reason. And it's posed in the way that you can take it and then put it on the Thrawn Black Series figure. I think they've appeared in one or two other places, but yeah, there isn't a lot of merchandise for them. I've tried, that's going to be a little way off, but it'll be fun again. Another fun scene to do. Obviously, it's not even in this book, so one book at a time. And I need to read Dark Force Rising and The Last Command again to really refresh my memory of the story. The default is going to be a interesting challenge to pull off. Nate the Cow, welcome. I'm making the spaceport city for Abregado-rae, which will appear in chapter 20. So we've got the spaceport here, and the canteen is going to go here. I've got separate buildings for that, well, separate objects, so I'm basically just leaving spaces for things to go, rather than build them in this. This is SketchUp, which is a piece of 3D modeling software that I learnt many years ago. I don't do a lot of 3D modeling, but I feel like this suits me quite nicely for when I do actually do some 3D modeling. Robert P. I do have some original projects on my channel, Chronicles of Humanity. It's a sci-fi series. It's a bit dated now compared to what I can do with what I've been doing with Heir to the Empire. It's a world I'd like to go back and visit at some point. Matthew, this is going to be for chapter 20. I've still got 19 to finish. I'm waiting for dialogue from voice actors so I can finish that. But while I'm waiting, I thought, well, I might as well start creating content for chapter 20. So here I am. So the comic has lots of these triangles appearing in various places, so I think we need another one here. Travin, yeah, you're not the only one. I'm looking forward to being able to watch the whole part 1 and 2 back to back. It should be quite the experience. Ah, Crystal, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Jamie, yeah, I have no idea how much work would have to go into creating a piece of software like this. But I'm glad that someone did do it, because I always wouldn't be here making this right now. Robert P., what is a Roku channel? I'm afraid I'm not familiar with the term. And Travin, if they had done it, I wouldn't be making this, so I'm not going to complain too much that they didn't, because I wouldn't be here talking to you guys if they did it. And yeah, there were some really terrible books in the whole expanded universe. which is a shame. But it's going to happen when you tell lots of stories. There's going to be some that are really good, and some that are not. When a franchise grows the way Star Wars did. Nate, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Well, they could pay me for it, and that would definitely be a preferred option. See, I've only read Courtship once, a long time ago. It's kind of on the same level as the Crystal Star. So, St. Joseph, the freighter itself doesn't cloak. What they cloak is the cargo bay in the freighter. So when the freighter explodes, then well, it doesn't actually explode, but the hull of the cargo bay kind of blasts open, so all the ties inside can fly out. But the freighter itself is completely visible. So when I read through the book to write that part of the script, went through that very carefully to see what I would need to do, and that actually makes it very easy. Because Wedge spots the freighter, and he gets suspicious of it because he scans the cargo hold and finds it's completely empty, and he doesn't know why, because completely empty freighters don't happen very often. I have the Crystal Star. I have a friend who keeps asking me to adapt it so that she can voice Wario. To which my answer is, if she writes the script, we'll see what we can do. The worst Star Wars book I've ever read, though, was Invincible, and it was the last of the Fate of the Jedi? The ones where Jason goes bad. I read that book and it was so awful I couldn't read any other book. I don't just mean Star Wars books, I mean any book, for about 2 years. I just had lost the complete will to read anything. That's how bad that book was. My thoughts on the Obi-Wan TV show. The trailer looks interesting. Don't really have much to say about it until I see the first episode. But I'll give it a go when it gets released on the 25th of May. What I'm really excited for is the Lego Star Wars game released in 2 weeks. Traveling, exactly. So that's why he becomes so suspicious of that freighter. So, but luckily for me, the way that it's described in the book is very easy for me to animate because I've got lots of freighter models I can use. So I'll use one and have it. The hull just kind of blows open, the ties come out. That's a lot easier for me than trying to figure out a cloaking effect. Robert P, does sound very interesting. I'll have to investigate that. I do have ideas for original content. More Chronicles of Humanity. It's mostly sci-fi stuff. More Chronicles of Humanity and this other project which I was kind of been developing on and off over the course of the pandemic. So I have to see what I can do with those. Jamie, yes. So basically, it was a series of 9 books by 3 different authors. So they alternate between each author. And the last book is meant to wrap up this whole storyline. It was 200 pages. Everything just kind of rushed through. Like he just wanted to write it as quickly as possible without wrapping anything up in any kind of satisfactory way, because it's just a quick job to do. And the final fight, which it's been building up to, was about half a page long, and that was it. I know you can't really write too much about lightsaber duels in the books. I imagine they're quite difficult to describe, but at least make it more than a quick half a page fight. Excuse me. I try not to do that on stream, but occasionally it does happen. Will I do the... I don't think I can get that Thrust of the Throne Tree done that quickly. Lost Files, yeah. Well, it's useful for... I don't know much about the SketchUp community. I just find it's a very useful tool for building stuff like this. So there we go. Jamie, yeah, they released it over about a 2-year period, and every book before that was good. It's just that one is a real letdown, and stopped me reading anything for 2 years. Aki Gamer, welcome. And thank you for the super chat. I'm glad you enjoy watching the behind the scenes when I'm making this stuff, and support like that always makes me smile and goes back to helping producing the show. So this is for chapter 20, the Abregado-rae Spaceport city. So over here we've got this empty space, which is the ship's going to be landing, and the cantina is going to be here. I've already covered this, but I'll say it again because you just arrived. But I've got a separate object for the cantina, which I'll place here in iClone. I've read Teresa Bakura, and I do enjoy Terry Pratchett, although I prefer watching the animated and live action adaptations. Oh, I remember playing Discworld 2 when I was younger as well, the game. There's some fiendishly nightmarish puzzles. So the good thing about the Truce at Ricora is, when I was in the school, that's when the book was released, we had to... The school library ran out of books that we had read at that point. So the teachers said we could bring our own books in, and they would ask random kids in the class to read part of their book either to the teacher or to the class. And because of the Truce at Ricora was kind of a struggle to read through, especially trying to figure out how to say pronounce some of the words in it. The teacher asked me to do it once and then didn't ask me again. So that made me very happy, because I didn't want to get up and read. I wanted to read it quietly. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the Obi-Wan show. Lost Fires, I put the book down and struggled to pick it up again. So I learned of that death when I read the book. Jamie, I did not enjoy getting up to read to the class at all, as you can imagine from the way I've just told that story. So, choosing a book that the teacher's not going to want read aloud definitely does it. I enjoyed Darksaber as a kid. I don't think I'd enjoy reading it now. Yeah. So I'm going to lower this just a little bit. Gives it a little bit more depth. Yes, I know what I just said there. But when it all renders, it should look really nice. Jamie, how did that go? Did you play the part? Robert P, thank you so much for the super chat. I do enjoy showing off the creation process. If you go back and look through my channel, you'll find I stream most weeks behind the scenes of different aspects of making Heir to the Empire. So ranges from creating characters to sorting out the motion capture, the cleanup. I think I've done lip sync and facial animation. I've also done things like this where I'm building environments. Yeah, there's a lot there to go and look through. So again, thank you so much for your support. Matthew, the Rogue Squadron book series was excellent. I need to read through that again at some point as well. Is there anything you're ashamed to be afraid of? A deep thought. I'll have to think about that one. Lots of people have a fear of spiders, so I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. Lost Fires, you're welcome. And Jamie, that's a good way to not do it. I don't think I would enjoy being on stage in the show like that either. I like doing voice acting in my projects like this, but I don't think I want to be in front of the camera. I'd much rather be doing stuff behind the scenes. It's a bit more comfortable for me. Much like this. I haven't even got my webcam set up. Because, well, partly because I feel like having my head talking in the corner would be distracting from showing off how this stuff works. And, yeah. I'm happy when it's just my voice. Traveling that would certainly make make him cry. Some very hot chilies would probably have the same effect. Some of the that's not an irrational fear. Obviously it does affect you quite strongly. Jamie, neither can I. I know I want it to look in my head. It's kind of going to be a mix of stone and other stuff. Obviously I'm not adding the water in here. That'll be a separate object, as well as the extra buildings. I'm going to put extra buildings over here, and here, up here, and of course the cantina here. Traveling, I've got two friends who have had experience with haunted houses. They don't know each other, so it's two different haunted houses as well. And it sounds like great fun being able to put those together and scare people. Somebody else, that does sound kind of scary. Just kind of looking around because I'm not quite sure what else to add at the moment. Getting a bit tired, so my creative energy's dropped a bit. I don't want to do anything and then have to fix it when I wake up. Let me see what I've done. Yeah, Jamie, I remember you had a thing about eyes when I was doing the character creation video. To the point that it's one of those things that I remember. So if I was ever doing another character creation video, I would give you a heads up when I was about to do something with the eyes, so you could, look away. Robert P, I haven't done any cloaking for Edge of the Empire, but I did. There's a test project I did a while back, which was to recreate one of the battle sequences from Babylon 5. There was one I released a long time ago, and then I decided to try it again more recently, but I haven't released the more recent one. I just wanted to see what kind of rendering I could do now. And of course there's a shadow ship. When it appears, it's got a very similar cloaking. It looks like the cloaking effect from Star Trek with the Klingons, where it kind of, it's completely invisible, and it fades into view, but it's very distorted as it happens. So I use the transparency effect on the texture, and then in post added, no, not in post, there's actually an affecting iClone, was it? I think it's the ripple effect, to make it look distorted as it fades in. That came out really well. Nate the cow, ignore the troll. Don't give them any attention. We'll just carry on talking about what we're talking about. Yeah. Jamie, yeah, when people have phobias of things that I'm working on, I try to make notes so that if I have to do that again, I can give them some warning, because I don't want you to feel like you can't be here because I may do something that makes you uncomfortable. So if I can give you a warning and heads up before I actually get to that part, I will do it and as quickly as possible, and then tell you when it's done so you can look back. See, those kind of trolls are fun, so you can be that kind of troll with the crazy hair. Okay, so I think I'm going to come to the end of the stream. Somebody else, yeah. I thought they were cloaking too, but apparently that's the way they fade in and out of hyperspace. But still, it's a great effect, and they're still pretty scary when they do it. Also, my hair gets pretty crazy as well. It's another reason I don't put myself on the webcam. So yeah, I'm going to stop the stream shortly. To continue building this scene, I think I said before already that I'm going to place extra buildings separately. Over here in the background, I'm going to put some much more simple buildings like they see in the comic, and maybe do some extra stuff over here and over here so I can move the camera a little bit more freely. But otherwise I think that's done for the night. Yeah, so make sure I've saved that. Also, yeah, the water is going to be a separate object, which it's going to come to about here. Babylon percent. Maybe that's what they'll call the new show. Yeah, I think this building here needs some more work as well, but I kind of got to a point where I'm a little bit too tired to figure out what else to do with it. So that's something I'll do during the week. The Chig ships were very unusual designs. It's a shame that show got cancelled, just as it's really picking up as well. Well, it's midnight here, so I think rather than nap, it'll be sleep 8 hours also. That'd be quite nice. Soon. Got a few other things to do first. So I will wish you all a good night. I'll see you all next week. May the throne be with you. Again, thank you, Robert P, for the super chat, and also Aki Gamer. Again, I appreciate it. I do have a wildcards meme planned, but I can't do that yet until I reveal all the characters. Robert P, also check out the Roku service you were talking about, because it might be interesting to explore with some of my more original projects. So obviously this is no good for it. I made a note, so I'll check it out. Alright, so yeah, see you all next week. May the throne be with you. Take care, and thank you for coming. As always, it's been fun.